Hey guys, I have got an absolute blinder of a recipe for all of you halloumi fans out there today. We are gonna cook halloumi 65. It's super crispy and today I have oven fried this, so there's no need to bust out your deep frying oil this time. Nobody really knows why it's called 65. There are a ton of stories out there. Some people believe that it was created with 65 different spices. Some people believe that the original recipe, which was chicken 65, was made using a chicken that was 65 years old. So some of the theories out there are absolutely wild, but we're not gonna kind of explore that too much today. All I want to do is show you a really quick and simple way of making this dish and recreating the flavors at home. And my special technique and touch is using halloumi, but of course that's not really a commonly available ingredient in some parts of the world, so wherever you are, just use this recipe as a base for your favorite carrier ingredient. You can use paneer, you can use any kind of protein you like. Tofu is really great in this. You can use potatoes, cauliflower. Just be creative and let your imagination run wild. Let's start by preparing the halloumi. I like to cut it into big bite-sized pieces and soak it in hot water. This softens the halloumi up beautifully and removes excess saltiness. After about 5 minutes in the hot water, you'll notice that the halloumi is now super soft. You can now drain the excess water away. Now to make a delicious crispy coating for our halloumi. Add a combination of corn flour and self-raising flour to the drained halloumi. Next, add in ground black pepper, chopped curry leaves, dried garlic, salt and chili powder. I'm using Kashmiri chili powder for a mild flavour and amazing colour. Toss everything together to give it all a nice coating. Okay, so admittedly this is not a typical ingredient added to this dish, but I like to add a little bit of vegan mayo to this, and it is such a great trick for getting a nice crispy coating on your halloumi without having to add any eggs. Some English mustard, lots of lemon juice, a small amount of oil, and just a splash of water. Use clean hands and a gentle touch to mix this all together. Okay, so don't panic. I've intentionally created a thick batter for this halloumi. Because we're baking this in the oven, the batter needs to be thick enough to cling to the cheese. If it's too wet, it'll just slip off as it bakes. Arrange the halloumi on a baking tray lined with greaseproof paper. It's a good idea to spray the paper with oil first to prevent sticking. Make sure you leave at least a 2 cm gap between each piece, or they might just end up sticking together. Spray the pieces liberally with cooking oil and bake them in a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius, that's 400 degrees Fahrenheit, for 10 to 12 minutes. You'll probably need to turn them halfway through the cooking time just to make sure that they brown evenly all over. My halloumi pieces are now so crispy and golden. It's the combination of vegan mayo, corn flour, raising agents in the flour, and lemon juice that have all worked in harmony. Together they've created an ultra light coating without us having to deep fry anything at all. And soaking our halloumi has ensured that the cheese has stayed really lovely and squidgy inside. To make the sauce, whisk plain yogurt with corn flour and chili powder. The corn flour will stabilise the yogurt so that it doesn't split as it cooks. Heat a large pan over a medium-high heat and add the cooking oil of your choice. I'm using rapeseed here. I add 6 giant cloves of garlic to this recipe, so you might not want to make this right before a hot date. Add curry leaves, dried red chilies, and fresh green chilies. Saute until the garlic turns slightly golden brown, and then throw in bite-sized pieces of onions and peppers. Pour in the yogurt mixture, and as if there wasn't enough chili already in this recipe, some chili sauce. Next, a splash of water. Now you'll want to stir this continuously over a medium heat until the sauce thickens. It should take about 4 minutes. You can season this with salt, but remember that the halloumi is already quite salty, so just be careful. Add the crispy halloumi pieces and toss gently to make sure that everything is really well coated. And finally garnish with some freshly chopped coriander. You'll want to serve this hot, so make sure that you take it straight to the table. This dish however you like. My favorite way, because I'm a proper Yorkshire girl at heart, is with chips and salad. You can be as refined or as unrefined as you like, and you can make this ahead of time as well. It's a really good dish to prep in advance, like if you're having a party or guests around. The one thing I would say is don't toss it in the sauce until you are ready to actually serve it and eat it, because that way it will stay really nice and crisp, and that is the goal in this recipe. Check the description box for a link to the full recipe.